Let the people pile in. Facebook's coming up right now. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're live. We're live everywhere across all platforms. Are we on TikTok yet? We see if there's a key for TikTok. I want to get on with those. There is. We got to get the TikTokers on here too, guys. All right, so we're live. Welcome to another episode of the Mirabella Mindset. All right, so we had a good Q&A session yesterday, and today I want to chat about a rule that I learned that helps me as a leader buy back my time. So as the people pile in here, I'll give you guys a second. The big bottleneck I have, or I hear from people, is the fact that they like to micromanage people and they're too much of a control freak. And you'll never be able to grow your business if you want too much control over people. You need to control the process and the systems, not the people. And you need to make sure you coach the people, and you need to make sure that you could guide them the right way by using the right processes. But it's super important that you have a little bit of trust. And the lack of trust you have with people leads me to believe that you don't trust yourself with being a good leader. And you have to take a look at yourself and be like, what kind of leader am I? Why is it that the things that I want to get done for me not getting done? Whether you're a stylist with an assistant, an owner with a stylist, a manager with a team, it doesn't matter. If you're outsourcing your marketing team and they're not doing the job that you want, whose fault is that? It's yours. Yours as a leader, yours as the owner, yours as a stylist. And if you don't have a process in place, then it has to fall back on you. Here's a great strategy that I learned. It's called the 10-80-10 rule. I learned this from Dan Martell. He wrote the book called Buy Back Your Time. Get the book, read the book, follow him. He's a beast. 10% of the project needs to be done by you with them. So you like what I like to do is I like to screen record the whole process. And what I'll do is I'll have the person I'm working with be on like a Zoom with me or a Google Meet or take a look at my phone while I'm doing like an editing of a video. I do 10% of it. I explain the details, how I want it done. They take on 80% of the project. At the very end, I come back in and I take a look at the final 10%, put my stamp of approval on it. If there's any changes that need to get made, we make them. They learn the process. Then I do that again. And I do that again until they actually own 100% of that process. Now they have a standard that I set with them, a system in place or a process, and the person is equipped with the knowledge to get the task done. Too many times, owners and leaders just pass a task off, and then that's it. They're done. They don't ever check in with that person. They never check to see how it's going. And then what happens is 2 months go by. They check in with the person. It's not being done the way they want it to be done. Whose fault is it? That's your fault. That's whose fault it is. So it's so important that you have the process in place. Now, let me add this to the conversation. If you have the right process with the wrong person, then it might fail. So it's about people and about process. You have to make sure that you have the right person in place. Now, James, what you doing? Oh, we're good. Oh, cool. All right. So when I coach owners or I coach stylists or I coach whoever I'm coaching, and they have a problem, and it has to do with process, that's either there's no process or there's no person in place to help them out. I ask them, is it a people problem or a process problem? And if it's a process problem, then we have to take a look at the process of how things are done, and we have to fix the process because typically it's a broken process. I start with the process. Then I go to the people because it's not the person's fault if the owner doesn't have a process for them. I mean, no, it's not the person. Yeah, it's not the person's fault if the owner doesn't have a process for them. So you have to make sure as an owner, how are you supporting the people that are trying to run your business so you can actually run the business? The whole point of being an owner is not to have a job. It's to buy back your time to grow the business and let the vision soar. Like your vision has to be big enough to fit the whole team's vision in it. You'll hear me say that every single day. So when I talk to somebody about the problems in their salon, I ask them, what's the outcome you want? Like, what is it? What's the result that you want from this person? And then how do you support them? Because too many people just give them a vague direction or a vague instruction handbook that doesn't really apply to the full process. And then the person's left there trying to figure out things on their own. And that's why it fails. That's why you have to micromanage. That's why you can't trust people, because you don't have a good system in place. Now, when it comes to hiring, right, I have something called the core values identifier. If you guys struggling with hiring the right team, DM me the word hire, and don't leave a comment. DM me the word hire if you're on Instagram, and I'll send you over this really cool core values process where it's a video of me talking about how I onboard my whole entire staff. And that's a process. So what I was able to do in my salon was I was able to remove myself from the hiring process, and I put Jessica in charge. I put Jennifer in charge. I put Kathy in charge. I put whoever is running my salon at that location in charge of the process. Now, I did it with them several times, and then now they own it. It's theirs. And I check back in with that. How's it going with the process? What can we change? And you always want to make sure you're revisiting those conversations, but they have a process now. I don't need to be involved with it. And if you don't have a hiring process, that's what you have to first fix. When I talk to owners, this is the biggest bottleneck. James, right? You would say people, they have a problem hiring?
Yeah, big time.
Like, does the whole industry have a problem hiring, or a select few people? Like, if you are the person who's having a hard time hiring, you probably think it's the whole industry. But there are salons out there who have an influx of people. You are in the wrong business. You're in the recruiting business. That's the business you need to be in. You're not a salon owner. Do you have a pipeline? Do you have 5 or 10 stylists waiting to work at your salon at any given time, that when somebody leaves on maternity leave or somebody has to leave because they're moving, that you can pull from this pool of vetted stylists to jump into your salon and start picking up clients? No. So what are you focusing on? You focus on hiring when you need somebody, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody leaves, and you're like, oh shit, I got to hire someone again. And then you stop looking for people. Have some kind of a system in place that you always have ongoing hiring going on. This way you keep phone numbers, Instagram handles, and you keep people in a pipeline, kind of like a sales team, because these are your clients. And if you look at stylists or your employees or your team members as clients, you're going to want to make sure you have some kind of a wait list. Like if you're an oversubscribed stylist, for you guys who want some context, get the book called Oversubscribed. You should have people knocking on your door for you to do their hair. You should have a wait list. It's part of what we do. Like next time it opens up, they take that spot. So you have a cancellation. Very good. Hey, Nancy, I had a cancellation at 12. Can you make it? Perfect. Boom, she's in the spot. That's the same way it should work for stylists or lash techs or whoever does the thing in your business. Now, if you don't have that, you're going to scramble when you have to replace somebody in your salon. So I want you guys to think about the difference between what you think you are as a salon owner and what you really are as a salon owner. You need to make sure that you have an influx of clients coming in your salon and an influx of employees or staff members ready to perform services at that location. I'm going to give you a piece of information. What are the 2 things that you have to look for when you're hiring somebody? Let you guys think about that for a second. James, how's the chat doing? Any questions?
No questions yet.
Guys, feel free to drop any questions in the chat.
Put in the chat. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, they can hear you now, James?
Mic loud and clear?
All right, cool. So the 2 things that you need to look for when you're hiring somebody is hunger and character. Those are really 2 things you can't teach. I'll be honest with you. Like, I love the fact that I'm a coach and I coach people and I help them, really transform their life in every level. And it really helps me more than it helps them, to be honest with you. But when you have someone who's hungry, it's a much different type of hire than you have somebody who just wants to make an okay living. They want to take off on the weekends. They're not going to stay and go the extra mile for that client. That's a reflection of your brand. So first you want to figure out how hungry is this person, especially someone coming out of school. Like, are they dedicated to this career? And then the next thing is character. They're interchangeable. Character could come first. Hunger could come first. It doesn't really matter. You can't change someone's character. I mean, you could, but do you really want to take on that job as an owner? Like, you want to make sure everyone has the same core values as everybody else in your salon. And you want to make sure that the character of that person aligns with your character and everyone else in the salon. You want someone who's honest, has integrity. They have teamwork in mind. That maybe success is part of that. So you want to make sure that hunger and character are built into that person's DNA. And that would make the whole hiring process so much easier for you. The whole onboarding process so much easier for you. And what that truly does, to go back to the beginning of the conversation, is it fixes the people part of the process. So the reason why you can't delegate certain tasks in your salon, because you hire the wrong people. You need to make sure you have people that you can delegate tasks to. And if you're an owner and you're wearing all the hats, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to have a business that you grow to hate, not a business you grow to love. So there's a couple rules here that we talked about today. It was the 10-80-10 rule. It was the people and process. And it was the 2 traits you want to make sure you hire for. It was hunger and character. So James, anyone pop into the chat?
Nope. Someone said hair's looking good.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to pull up one.
The Jerry curls.
Jerry curls are coming back. I'm going to pull up the other chat right here on Facebook. And I'm going to take a look at what's going on in the chat. All right. So can you break down 1099s again? All right. We talk about this so much on my channel. A 1099 is simply just a structure. It's a form, actually, not a structure. It's a tax form the IRS wants somebody to provide and lets them know where the income got transferred to. That's all it really is. You, as an independent stylist, you make money. The salon owner collects the money. They transfer you the funds. That is what gets put into the 1099. What it allows you to do as an independent stylist now is to form your own LLC and now to start deducting things off of your income. As a W-2 employee, if you can't write off your car, you can't write off clothing, you can't write off your scissors. As a 1099 contractor who has an LLC, there's a whole different level of deductions that you can take. Whether it's a single employer pension, whether it's your car, whether you use your house for events that you throw dedicated around hair, that could be a deduction for you. So I want you guys to really start thinking about this, not as like owner versus stylist. Like that's silly. I want you guys to think about, when you talk about the whole 1099 structure, a unit. Like it's the salon owner and their team. And if their team's independent, the better the team does, the better the salon does. The better the salon does, the better the team does. So if we could lower the tax liability of each person by having a bunch of deductions they're entitled to by being LLCs, that just makes so much more sense. So it's not about getting one over on your team. Here's the best part about it, though. By you switching to that structure as an owner, you can now increase the amount of commission you give somebody. So they can take the line item deductions that they have by being an LLC, rather you getting completely robbed by any kind of 3-letter agency on where that money goes. So there is a pro and con to this if you're not making a lot of money. Like you want to make sure your team is built up to a certain point that it makes financial sense for them to actually become an LLC and then be treated as an S Corp. So there's a lot of like ins and outs I want you to talk to your accountants about. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. I just use ChatGPT for everything. So you guys have to understand there's a time and place for each one of these structures. And if you have a stylist that's booking $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a week behind the chair, it might be time to have that conversation of them switching to a 1099 structure. So you can create your contract because we have the right to contract in our constitution, plus in our state constitution. In almost every single state has that right. So you could form an independent contract with that particular entity, like Sally does hair LLC, and then your salon now can offload some of that income to her as an independent contractor. I have an accountant who's coming on, I believe, on the 15th of September. We're going to go live on a podcast. He's going to unpack all your questions, and we're going to give you solid, real, legitimate answers for any of them. Now, the way this works is people ask me, again, in the comments here, how do you give such high commission? That's how I give high commission. I'm not paying a 13 or 14 or 15% payroll tax to have that employee. It's now I'm able to raise their commission up. The other caveat to this, it's parts and labor. I don't make this stuff up. This is like what's being used in our industry right now. These are the ways you can create some more income or more wealth for yourself as an owner, create more money for the business. And the biggest issue I found when I went through like being a broke salon owner to being a successful one and having more money in my bank account, believe it or not, my sales are way less right now than they were years ago, but my profits are way more. So I learned like so many valuable lessons by really focusing more on the profits than the revenue. And when I started looking at where my money is going, a lot of it went to payroll tax, a lot of it went to color. So it only made sense for me to do this, to switch to these things.
Nick, we got a question in the chat from Jamie Mark.
All right.
Doesn't that depend on which state you are in when it comes to a 1099? In Seattle, that would be considered a misclassification, I believe.
It depends on how you're classifying that person. If it's like a social security number that you're 1099ing, and here's where the classification comes in. If you don't dictate their hours, right, you don't control their schedule, they can work somewhere else. Like they have a bridal business on the side. You don't supply them, like they supply their own gear, like they have their own blow dryer, their own scissors. They are truly independent. How you can get around this issue is the salon is there not to do hair in, it's to facilitate the hair environment and the transactions between the clients and the independent contractors. If that's the salon's role, then the stylist will then 1099 the salon for facilitating that transaction. So that's how you don't get misclassified. So Tim's LLC will now 1099 the 40% that was withheld from the salon as the salon's income. So the misclassification doesn't happen by the salon 1099 the independent stylist. It goes the other way around, much like if they were a booth renter. So that's a structure that I am adopting in certain states. But also, I'm a private membership association, so I don't have any employees. I only have members. So things are a little different for me and how I handle them. Like that's a good question for you to ask for the account. I believe it's the 15th. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, that's how you work that around. If you have a contract and the contract states that they can work wherever they want, they have to provide their own tools, they pick their own hours, they're independent. They can work like they don't worry about that. If they say you're misclassifying, push back. Tell them you're not. Make sure you have all your facts straight. Make sure you really dissect the law. Make sure you take a look at the vernacular they use in the law. So when you form your contracts, it doesn't have any of that employee compliant vernacular in that contract, and you're pretty much compliant with what the law says about what an independent contractor is. And if you do that, you're going to hold up in court. Like, don't just say yes to them. Push it back to court. Like, run it. And that way, once you run it one time, you're good. Because these people who work for these agencies don't know what they're talking about, and they're literally so misinformed, from the Board of Cosmetology to the Attorney General. They don't know what they're talking about. Cops don't know the true laws. Like half of them don't know. Lawyers don't know the true laws. They got to look up books and court cases, so nobody knows what they're talking about. They think they do. And just because they have a job out of the agency saying they work there so they know, that doesn't mean you know. It doesn't. There's doctors every day that have malpractice because they don't know. They get told by a pharma rep that this drug's meant for this when it's off-label use and they actually hurt somebody. So nobody knows what the hell they're doing. I'll be flat out honest with you.
One of the biggest causes of death in the United States is medical malpractice.
Yep.
A doctor making mistakes. Another question in the chat.
Yeah.
Creative Hair by Mandy. I've been hairdressing and doing nails as a self-employed now for 3 weeks. My dream is to own my own salon. What steps do I need to take to get to where I want to be? She added, I've been hairdressing for 1 year and doing nails for 7.
All right. Focus. You're doing nails and you're doing hair. What are you better at? If you're amazing at both and you could pull both off, then great. But if you're truly independent, you have to master client acquisition. How much are you booking a week, if you don't mind me asking?
She put some of this in the chat.
So if you're independent, I want you to act fully independent. That means you should have an LLC structure set up. You should have, this is a structure. I got it from Ed Collins. Trust, holding company, single, like LLC operating company. Watch The Wealth Matrix on YouTube. Go to his friggin' Instagram. Guy's brilliant. You want to make sure you're set up strategically so you control everything, but you own nothing. So God forbid something happens, you get sued, you have no assets. You're truly protected and you control everything through your trust and your LLCs. That's the first layer of protection I would do if I were you as an independent. Then I would become a student of business. You have to learn the language of business. You have to learn the language of money, the language of marketing. And that comes from reading books. That comes from ChatGPT, Google, and just become a student of everything. Watch all the podcasts, read all the books, and then you're going to become a master of this craft. As good as you are at nails and as good as you are, as good as you are doing hair, you have to be even better at business. become a student. That's the best advice I can give. And did she get back to you on how much she's booking a week?
Nope.
So to be honest with you, whichever one you're making more in, what would happen if you were to focus on that particular nails or hair, that discipline, I should say, or that service more? Would you make more money if you were all in on hair or all in on nails? Guys, there's a huge thing in our industry with people not focusing on it. I was a victim of this. This is me. All my 20s when I did hair and when I got back into hair again. I bartended and did hair. I was at the bar till 4 in the morning, drinking like a fucking animal, and then I would go and do hair all day long, and then go back to the bar and work the dinner, and then work the nightclub shift, and then get no sleep. And I wasn't all in. Like, you can't ride 2 horses, you got to pick one. And which one's going to move you fastest to your desired goal? That's the horse you have to ride. So for me, I had to quit bartending. It was scary. I was making good money bartending, but I knew the upside of me doing hair was better. I partnered up with my buddy. I had the opportunity now to own my own salon, and I had to go all in. And I couldn't go all in by being a bartender at night and a hairdresser during the day. I had to be a hairdresser all the time. Yeah.
She's around 10 hair clients a week and 25 nail clients a week.
Numbers wise,
Creative Mandy, put your how much you're doing numbers wise, please.
if you have a good amount of clients, it sounds like you have more nail clients. Which one takes you more time to make more money? So are you making the same amount of money doing hair with 10 clients as you are 25? Because if you are, jump the hair because you can make more money while people process. And then, or bring an assistant on so they can do the hair for you while you focus on the nails. Like there's a lot of ways you can play this whole thing out. But if you're the best, and I do believe in diversification of your services, but a lot of times that comes to hair. So you do the cut, you do the color, you can do the keratin, you can do the perm, you can do everything with the hair. When it comes to jumping back and forth from nails to hair, that's a little more difficult. Not impossible, right? You could have a cute little studio where you're doing everything. You're the one-stop shop person, but then you're stuck always doing everything. It's hard for you to scale that business and buy back your time. If there's a number there, let me know.
I'm waiting.
All right, cool. What was I just chatting about before that happened?
1099s.
Before that, like right after that, before I jumped off on that rant. Was I done with it?
It sounds like you were done with it.
All right, cool. Next question. I was pretty much done with that. All right, cool. Why do you love Shopify so much? All right, guys. So I haven't talked about Shopify in a while. So why do you love Shopify so much? Or why do I love Shopify so much? Shopify enables me to have a website and also sell products to monetize the products I sell in my salon to my local community and also people outside of my reach physically. So I'm going to give you a scenario. I'll run an ad campaign for this product to a 7-mile radius around my community. This is a very searched product. It's trending on Google Trends. People are talking about it on Instagram and TikTok. People are going to Google this to want to buy it. I'll increase my ad spend to my 7-mile radius around my salon. What does that do? It allows me to acquire a customer. I'll acquire the customer at a break-even point to sell the product. It's called your customer acquisition cost. Now, when I get that customer in my world, guess what I can do now? I can get them in my salon. So I'm getting free customers and free advertising essentially because I'm making the profit on the product that I'm selling to pay for the ad spend to get the customer in my door. That's why I love Shopify. So if you don't have a Shopify store, DM me the word Shopify and I'll set your whole store up. I'll teach you how it works. I mean, there's a lot of ins and outs to that though. Like you have to honestly learn Google ads and meta ads and get engulfed in marketing, but you could literally scale your salon to doing $3 million a year in revenue. That was my best year in online sales. And that was a lot of Google ads, but I was able to fill the seats in my salon by using the great SEO that Shopify provides. And I was able to now also sell products to people in Indiana and become their virtual hairdresser. The buying patterns go online. Like people are online shopping. And if they're not buying it from you online, they're buying it from Amazon or some other website. But if you have good social media, you have great content like a blog, you got a great newsletter, and you're treating this salon thing like a business and not just some hobby, you need to make sure you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. And having an online retail presence is part of doing business like it's 2024. And if you don't have it, thank you very much, because I have it and all your customers are buying products from me. And I'm going to lead this into another conversation when it comes to sales for retail. Guys, it's not sales. Like, you're not selling. You're serving. Hey, Nancy, what challenges do you have with your hair? Oh, volume? Did you know that this mousse will solve that problem for you? It's the one we used in your hair last time. How great did your hair look when you left the salon? Never look like that again, right? Do you want to know why? I'm not a magician. It was this root boost. This product will help you get that look. So you want them, you're solving the problem. You want to help support them so they look, feel, and they look in the mirror when they get home and they're like, wow, I have a great haircut, rather than this haircut sucks. The products are part of that. If they have a scalp issue, the shampoo is part of that. Their color fades. Did you buy the shampoo last time, or you ran to get Pantene from the store? No, Nancy, I can only guarantee the color if you buy the shampoo from me. That's why it's fading. Like, do you have to understand, you're diagnosing a problem that the clients have, and you're giving them a solution to the problem. It's not sales. In reality, it is sales, but you got to make sure you're able to diagnose the problem and provide them the answer to it. Another question, James?
Someone asked, I can't say her name, Elise Marta. How
Yep.
are you, Nick?
Oh, good, Elise. All right, why is your shirt so bright? Because I taught at a salon today, and I just didn't want to wear black today. Typically, I always wear black T-shirts, but I want to look like I'm a Miami drug dealer today. So this is my shirt for that.
One Delanucci in the house with his Jerry curls.
You love it. All right. Can I use Shopify if I'm a suite? Yes. So Shopify, you guys, hold on. Shopify is not like Amazon. It's not eBay. It's like Wix or Squarespace. All it is a website platform. So if you need a website, which you should have one if you are a business in 2024, whether you're a suite or you're renting a chair or you own a salon, you should have a website. And I think it's like $39 or $49 a month. It could be $59 a month. So Shopify will host it for you on their servers. You could buy the domain there. I buy the domain on GoDaddy. And then you build your store, but you build your website. So your landing page could be all about the website. It could be all about the salon. So your landing page has like your about us, your information, your extensions, all that stuff is all on there. And then your products are on there too. And guess what you can do with a Shopify store? You could do reoccurring shipping. So your client comes in, they buy this shampoo right here. And then you're like, hey, Barbara, you're always buying this shampoo every 6 weeks. I see you stopping in here. Do I just ship it to you? Reoccurring shipping? And it just get billed for automatically. And now you have like 50, 60, 100 clients on reoccurring shipping. And then so if someone wants to go buy your salon, you have $40,000 a month coming in reoccurring revenue from subscriptions. Guess what that does? Increases the value of your salon. Salons aren't worth shit. So if you're trying to buy a salon or you're trying to sell a salon, guess what? It's really not worth much if the owner's generating all the income. But if you have a subscription-based service like that now, something that clients are always getting shipped new products that are increasing the revenue of the salon on an automatic like type of platform like subscriptions or like Loop. There's like a bunch of different apps you use. Well, that's worth something now. And then maybe you do that with blowouts too. Maybe people can subscribe to blowouts every month. And then you start building a real business. The game has changed, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not using technology to increase the value of your business, you're going to want to sell your salon when you're ready to hang it up, and it's going to be worth nothing. Except for the inventory you have in there, it's worth no business. It's worth no money. Like, you have to make sure you build a business to sell. And if you build a business to sell, it's a great business to work in and work at. And you're going to be unpleasantly surprised when you try and sell your salon and someone offers you $7 for it because it's worth nothing. So think like a business owner. Have the e-commerce store. Have a digital footprint. Have a subscription-based service or some kind of model where you have reoccurring revenue coming in. These are things that businesses do. Ulta will have that. Sephora has that. You don't need to think like they're such big conglomerates. You could do a mini little version of that. You could have a little suite and you could sell products to your clients and then other people in the area will buy them and you have an extra couple $1,000s a month coming in. That's your vacation money. That's your kids' daycare money. So, all right, next question.
Artist on Go is in the chat, said great advice.
Awesome, Artist on Go. All right, another 1099 question. Is it better to be W-2 or 1099? I guess you missed that first part. All right. If you are a mom and you're you're an LLC, right? I'm going to give you a scenario. You have 3 kids, they're in daycare. You do hair, right? Your husband's a W-2. You now are independent. You're an LLC. You're doing $100,000 a year, $150 a year doing hair. You're killing it right now. A, you're going to get murdered on W-2 payroll tax, which that's why you should be independent. Second, did you know you could pay each kid a certain amount of money every year to work for you or whatever how that works in the tax laws? I think it's like $15,000 a year.
I think it's 14.
14? I think it's between 14 and 15 now. So you can pay each child that. Guess what you can't write off? You can't write off daycare. But guess what you can do? Write off that $15,000 per kid. Guess what you pay your daycare out of? That kid's bank account. So guess what you just did? You just wrote off the daycare. Guys, think like a business owner. Like, honestly, the information's out there. The fact that you don't know it just says you're lazy. And you're comfortable with being unknowledgeable and poor. If you guys want to learn more about these strategies and how you can actually become a business owner as a salon owner, DM me the word grow. Let's get a conversation going. Let me help you help yourself and figure out like a good strategy for you. Whether it's hiring somebody, whether it's trying to learn how to pay your people the right way, how to do parts and labor, how to grow your business. Guys, I talk to salon owners every day. I learn so much from all of them. And it's like, the reason why I do this is because I was not good at business. I'm learning every single day. And the more I learn, the more I want to give back to you. And it's so lonely to be a salon owner. Like it's one of the loneliest things in the world. And you probably sit in your car when you're driving home from work and you pull in your driveway and you just sit there for a minute. And you don't want to talk to anybody. Your kids are probably going wild in the house. Your husband probably left the house a wreck. And you're like, fuck, why do I do this? Like, what is the point? That's the feeling that I don't want you to have. And if you're feeling that like that right now, just DM me the word grow. Like, it's very simple. It might just be a quick fix, right? But let me tell you something right now. That feeling that you have, that you're questioning if this was the right decision or not, I have that all the time still. Like, it's part of the journey. If you're not saying to yourself, why the fuck am I doing this at least twice a week, 3 times a week, you're not a business owner. Believe me. Or you're not stretching far enough to become successful. You're too comfortable. So everyone from me to Elon Musk to the guy with the hot dog truck on the corner in Manhattan has that feeling. I promise you, you're not alone. Right? When you go into a suite and you're like, why did I ever do this? I thought I was going to make all this money. Guess what? You're a business owner. You're in it now. Just get better. Get better skills. Build your business acumen. Learn, get around people, learn from them. Learn from the person who has like a suite for the last 5 years and they're killing it. Ask them questions. Hey, what do you do here? Who's your accountant? How do you look so good and like nothing's ever bothering you? Like conversate with people. Guys, success leaves clues.
It's true, guys. I can confirm Nick is constantly learning. He's sending me videos every single day, trying to level up. It's not just him coaching. He's learning every day from you guys. Question first: yep. The color girl stepping out of her comfort zone gets you to the next level. Mm-hmm. And Autumn Scheiss writes: if you're renting a chair or renting a suite and have room for product stock room at your house, would you create an online store for your clients?
Yes. All right. Here's the deal. Love that question. You guys want to know the high level move to do if you're in a suite? I'm going to give you guys a minute. All right. Here's how you create money out of nowhere with Shopify. And I'm going to give you guys a minute to digest that. All right, cool. So if you have room in your house, yes, do it. But you have to stock that inventory. Here's what I did. I give my shit away for free. Like my high level stuff is in my program. Like we go deep, but this is the stuff I'll give away. Now, start a Shopify store. You list your products. I would do a small Google shopping campaign or Meta shopping campaign to get the products more visible. You could do it like a small radius so you could double dip, like I said, 7-mile radius around your salon. Here's the magic. I have like 4 or 5 salon centrics next to me and like 4 Cosmos. Before the Cosmos went out of business because they stopped selling to me. That's a long story short, but so what you do is this. When someone buys the product from you, they pay with a credit card. That money goes into your Shopify account. You get that money. You drive to the store, you buy the product from Salon Centric, Royal Beauty Supply, whatever your distributor is, whatever like Armstrong McCall company you have buy you. So you buy the product, then guess what you do? you ship it to them. Or if they're local, you drop it off their house. Or you have your assistant do it. So what you do is you buy the product with the customer's money first. Then you ship it to them. And there's a strategy to being, like, you want to make sure that products aren't discontinued or they're not sold out of stock. So that's a way you can sell the product. And if you have like a pre-order tab on there, or you put in your disclaimer, not all products are in stock, like, so you make sure you're covered legally by that, then you're going to be 100% in the right. Like, talk to a lawyer about that, but that's what I did. So you would buy a product from me. I would buy 2. Now I have 1 for my inventory supply with the profit, because in our industry, you buy a product for 10, you sell it for 20. So now what I do is I get an extra product, stock my shelf. I sell it again. Now I'll buy 2 of them because my profit's there for 2. Then I stock my shelf. And I built, there's probably like 200,000 or plus more of inventory that I have of retail now that I built just like that. So I want you guys to really get clever here. So that's what I would do if you have space for stock at your house and you have a suite. I would 100% start a Shopify store. I would DM me the word Shopify. I would have me help you out, because if you try this alone, you're going to deal with a lot of pain. So I'll give you guys a background story for those of you who are new to my channel. My first 3 months selling on Shopify, I spent $96,000 or $98,000 on Google Ads, because I saw sales coming in and I kept on listening to Google, and they kept on readjusting my budget. And if I listened to them, I kept on hitting yes, okay. And it was on a credit card I had with no limit. And so literally, like, I spent 30, I paid off the credit card. Then next month it was like 30, and I had sales coming in. But by the time like that rush of money came in, I was able to actually look at how much I was making. I wasn't making anything. I was doing free shipping, free returns. I thought it was Zappos. I was doing like 10, 20% discounts. Then I was running my ad spend up through the roof. I had no idea about customer acquisition cost per click, return on ad spend. I got my first degree in marketing and advertising from Harvard for $96,000 the hard way, like literally the school of hard knocks. So that is how I learned. That would have shut down everybody, but I'm persistent. I wasn't going to give up. And so what do I have to learn? So then I went on YouTube. I started learning everything. I started learning what these words mean. I started watching these strategies. Then I hired a guy named Scott Redgate. Scott Redgate was my first real coach. This is like probably 2 years ago now. And like first real coach, like one-on-one. So he's on here, Scott Redgate. He's on Instagram. Scott, shout out if you're watching this. He changed the way I look at marketing and SEO and SEM. SEO is search engine optimization. SEM is search engine marketing. My websites were not optimized. I had to go back to square one again and fully optimize my website to make sure that Google now has a better landscape to run ads for my website with. And if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today in terms of the social media or the e-commerce side of things. And even the salon, like what he taught me with e-commerce and what he taught me with SEO changed the trajectory of my businesses completely. So hiring a coach who knows the information will get you from point A to point B a lot faster. You may get there. Like I would have eventually gotten there, but it would have cost me probably a lot more money. So if you want to time collapse your journey, find somebody who has the skills and knowledge that you want and then pay them for it. Like Upwork's a great spot for that. Like I look around and I see somebody with a great body, great abs. He looks great. He's got just a great life. Hey dude, like how do you get this fit? Like I don't see you in the gym every day. Like how do you do this without staying in the gym? I see you eating ice cream still. I see you eating this. Obviously you put the time in. He gives you a diet. You got to build up to that. So if somebody has the result that you want and the life that you want, just ask them how they got it. And if they're a coach or a mentor, then pay them for their knowledge. Why try and figure it out yourself? It's silly. James, any more questions?
Karina wanted you to expand on your Shopify strategy. She said the shops. So she's saying you list the items, and then when the customer buys it, you start growing your stock from there.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. So what I do is this: I list Everyday Dose shampoo. All right, the whole brand. The shampoo sells. Then when this shampoo sells, you have to buy it in order for me to ship it to you. When you buy the shampoo, I don't have it. I take your money. It gets deposited in my Shopify account. I go to Cosmo or Centric. I buy the shampoo, and then I ship it to you. Now, the next time I sell it, I might buy 2. And then next time I sell it, I might buy 3. But now I have inventory. If I see a trending product, I'll take the profits to stock the inventory. I don't come out of my pocket from hair. I build my inventory organically off the sales that are being generated by Shopify. And so this way you're never out of money and I'm never sitting on inventory. So the worst thing, every salon owner knows this, you buy an intro deal and you're sitting on fucking 50 products that don't sell because only 3 sell. So if you start stocking inventory, not knowing what the trends are, you're going to be sitting on a lot of stock and a lot of money sitting on your shelf. That's what you don't want. So you let the audience, you let your customers dictate what you stock inventory on. So if this is trending, right? When it goes on sale now, I know I sell 3 or 4 of them a week or 5 of them a week. I'm going to buy 15 of them when it goes on sale. I just increase my margins. So now when I sell this product, instead of making 50% margin, I'm making 60% margin because I got it 20% off. So that's how you start building a small business and the nest egg. And guess what? Now you're making $10,000 a month off your Shopify store and you have all this inventory. You do same day shipping. There's never a bottleneck with out of stock products or inventory. And you have a great little business that you love. That was my method of how I did it. I did it very fast and aggressive. I carried like 4,000 or 5,000 SKUs on my website too. So I'm telling you like how not to make the mistakes I made because I don't want you to go through the things I went through. Like I got married, bought a house, and went $100,000 in the negative in my business, all within like a couple months. And then my wife still asked me like, when are we getting out of this hole? Like we're out of it, but it was rough. And then I did the free shipping, free returns. And then I did, so I think that year was like something really ridiculous. I think I spent $240,000 on shipping. And then I don't even know what the total number was. Between that and something else, if I wasn't doing hair, it was like $300,000 that was just wasted. Or like $330,000, just gone out, like the whole first year of business selling online. Like literally almost destroyed my marriage, almost destroyed my ability to buy a house. It was rough. Don't do that. Like do what I'm saying instead. Because that was a really tough lesson to learn. Anything else, James, in there?
Josie25 asks where we can watch the full episode. Can we go back and watch this?
Yes. So if you go to YouTube, youtube.com/Nick Mirabella, I think 1.
Nick Mirabella 1. Yeah,
go to that handle. Go to nickmirabella.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a YouTube tab. So NickMirabella. James, are you running the thing across the bottom of the screen? Can they see that on Instagram?
It was up before. It's up now.
So nickmirabella.com. It's doing the thing on the bottom here.
And the ticker.
Go to that. Go to the YouTube button, and it will bring you right to the YouTube channel where that live will live. And guys, this podcast is getting posted on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, Podbean, like, and then Kajabi too. My website, I'll have like the audio version of it for you. And like I said, I'm gonna start bringing on guests. So if you're a hairstylist, you want to talk. If you're a brand, you want to talk. If you are a lash tech, I'm gonna bring you guys. Come on as guests. You could stream in from your house. You could come into the studio and be a guest. I'm also gonna start bringing on my own team. So you can ask them questions live too, and they could like tell you how annoying I am when I keep telling them to post on social media every day. And you can learn from like real live people. Like I want you guys to learn what the truth is about owning a suite, what the truth is about being an owner. Like if someone tells you it's all like rainbows and peaches and sunshine, it's not. It's brutal, it's lonely, it's tough, it's hard. And the harder it is and the more brutal it is, the more I love it. You want to know why? Because there's people out there who give it a shot and they fucking fail and they back out. And that makes it that much more rewarding for me because I know they couldn't do it. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that as like, hey, there's going to be less people at the top because they couldn't withstand it. That's if it was so easy, everybody would do it. The fact that it's so hard is just an indication of my grit and my hard work and my ability to kind of never get worn down. And this means I'm going to leave legacy for my kid. Like the harder it is, the better you are when you achieve success. Like to get an 8th place trophy is bullshit. You want 1st place. That's all you want. And unfortunately, that is a reality because you can't pay your mortgage with being second best. You have to be the best. And I'm not saying the best in a competitive way. You have to be your best version of yourself. Because you have your own brand, you have your own culture, you have your own uniqueness. And the universe and God and everyone knows when it comes to the law of attraction that if you're not giving it 100%, You're going to doubt yourself. It's going to cause a negative frequency in your body because you know the truth and you're not going to get the result that you want. So when you go through the hardship, when you give it 100% and you give it everything you got, you expect success because you know how hard it is and you know you're not going to give up and you know you're going to achieve it no matter what. And so before you get into business, you have to change your mindset because everyone's going to tell you, what if this happens? What if that happens? Your negative self-talk will even say that to you. What if, what if, what if? No, even if this happens, I'm going to find a way. Even if there's a pandemic and my salon gets shut down, guess what? I'm starting a PMA. So it doesn't matter the what ifs. If you're the type of person to have a growth mindset and it doesn't matter what the obstacle is, you will have an even if type of mindset. And it doesn't matter what the what ifs are. So before you get in ownership, even if I can't find a staff, I'll work out of the salon by myself and pay the bills. Even if no one does X, Y, Z, I'm going to make my way. Even if the government shuts my business down, I'm still going to find a way to make it work. So make sure before you jump into your own business or your suite, you start cultivating the mindset first because that's the most important thing.
All right. So we got a couple questions from Rena Rose. But before we get to that, the Color Girl 22 writes, Nick's program has been amazing so far. I've learned so much and I never thought I'd dive into learning.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for that, Caitlin. Listen, it's such a difficult thing to try and learn because our domestication with education, the way we come up through like grade school, is we're always taught what to think, not how to think. I don't want to teach you what to think. I don't want to teach you what to think. I want to teach you how to think. Because that's the problem with today. Like the way education sucks. You know it's all bullshit. Like you're just trained to be a factory worker. Guess what? You line up at the beginning of school, the bell rings, you go to recess. You come back, then you go to lunch. Then the bell rings, you go to recess again. It's like working in a factory. That's what they're indoctrinating you to do. They're never teaching you how to think properly, at least not traditional schools today. So education, they shouldn't give you a script on what strategy is going to work 100% for your business. No, everything needs to be fluid. You need to structure, but it has to be able to evolve into what works for you. That's the important thing about education. You got another question, James?
Yeah, but also Jen Pressman wrote, "Hey Nick, you were awesome. Thanks for everything that you do."
Jen, you're the best.
And where is it? Rena Rose, how are you able to market your site since Google ads seem to be more of an expense?
Fucking Rena, great question. Great question.
And to add on to that question, she writes, in general, what is your general profit margin?
So I like to work off a 400% ROAS. So for every $100 I spend on ads, I want to collect $400 worth of product sales. So to break that number down easier for you, this product cost me $100, right? It cost me $100. So I sell it for $200. So if I spend $100 in ads, this product right here sells for $200. I'm going to collect $400 worth of product. That's what I base it off of. And so I spent $100 on the ads. I spent $100 on the product. So what does that mean? It means I have $200 left over. All right. So that $200, my margins are typically 50 to 60%, depending if I get the product for a deal or if I have a coupon code. So I'm working on about 50% margins, typically only because I get 20% discounts on my products. Or sorry, 30 to 40% are my margins for online. Because my margins are 50%. So I got 10% goes to like a coupon code sometimes, and then I build in shipping. So I do free shipping over $75, and then I have a $2 back end handling charge as well. So the profit margin is typically a 30% margin is what you're making when you spend the money. And if you have an ad that goes wild, like sometimes that might be 10% because I'm trying something new. Like this year, I tried to sell in Europe, and I got obliterated. I got cremated. I spent like $60,000 in 2 months. Completely decimated. But lesson I learned a couple years ago, right? Trying to do it in a new market, and I was able to capitalize on it quicker and just backed out. So that was just a big swing and a miss. I tried a new market. I tried to do something new. I wasn't really versed in Europe because Europe has a lot of different laws with like cookies, and it was just difficult. So I had to scale back. But the profit's there. But the best thing about Google is if you Google best salon in New Jersey, best salon near me, best salon in Fairfield, and you have a shopping campaign, like it's called Performance Max, use that campaign to get your salon and products in front of people, and you just narrow the audience down to who your ideal audience, your ideal client is, and the radius around your salon. So you're able to double dip with getting a client and selling a product to those people. Hope that answered your question. It wasn't too drawn out.
Sharon, New York, she said she'd love to come share some knowledge with hairstylists. She teaches how to get their foot in the door to work with A-list celebrities. So it sounds like she wants to come on the show.
Yeah, come in. I'm right here in Fairfield, New Jersey. I'm like 40 minutes out of Manhattan. Don't judge our studio. We're like 3 dudes who run this place, so it's like shit everywhere.
It's just wires, dude.
Yeah,
It's not
I don't know.
that
We got to clean it up a little bit better. But I should have my wife come in here and really make this place nice.
We need wire organizationers.
Yeah, if you guys have a podcast studio and you know how to organize these wires, like there's a lot of shit going on here. But we have the online warehouse back behind us. Our salon's over there. I am hosting an event here, guys, in September, live at the Warehouse Salon. It's going to be an MVP event, money, value, purpose. So if you guys are wanting to learn more, then come on down. We're in Fairfield. I'm going to let you know the dates of that thing. And so money, value, purpose, or mindset, vision, profit. Like I got a bunch of different names for it, but it's MVP. You guys honestly should be thinking about what money you're making in this career, because you can't pay for food at the grocery store with a smile. Sorry, but you have a great smile. You got to find a way to make that smile make you money. And that was the call yesterday, having a pleasing personality. James, what do you got? Anything else?
How much do you rent? How from Sharon, New York? How much do you recommend spending on ads daily? I'd love to meet you. I also told her to DM you.
All right, here's the thing. Once you get ads figured out, like at a point I was spending like $1,500 a day on ads. So if you do the math on that, it's like 45 or 50. It was like 60 grand a month between both my stores. We're doing, that's the year we did like $3 million. Okay. And so once you figure out your return on ad spend, your customer acquisition cost, and you figure out like you get it dialed in, it doesn't matter how much you spend. Here's what the problem was for our industry. I had a problem getting products. Like I could spend so much money every day on ads because I was acquiring customers for the sales of products. So it didn't matter what I spent on ads because I have that put into the cost of the profit. The problem was when I was selling the products like this, in the strategy I told you about, like overselling, I would sell 15 of these because I was advertising it, but only had access to 10. So now I paid for the customer. Now they have a bad experience. They won't come back again. And I had to refund 5 people because it was a discontinued product or it was on back order. And so I had to scale back my ad spend. If I had access to unlimited products, which is what my goal is going to be, I'm going to have my own brand, that I would be a deca millionaire. But our industry, we have back orders. We have product package changes. Distributors run out of product. Like it's just no way to actually be able to scale this to the moon and have that product with a never-ending supply because it's a supply chain issue. So when it comes to ads, you have to make sure that your supply is dialed in so you could dial the ads up and then you just start printing money. That's the best way to do it. But you have to be conscious of that because you're gonna get a lot of unhappy customers. So now what I did was I had to cut some costs in the salon or with my operations department. And until we figure out a better strategy of acquiring the customers, then I had to scale back. And so now I'm very lean. Like I might be at like $50 a day or $100 a day for each one of my e-commerce stores, which is nothing. And I think I'm way more profitable right now, believe it or not. Like the money is not an issue. And so I had to shrink down in order to become more profitable because I didn't have the skills or the ability to, or the infrastructure to acquire the products I needed. And so this is a much better pace for me right now. And I am going to scale back up again once I build up another nest egg and I start forming better relationships with my distributors because I have contacts all over the US, but it's just shipping gets involved now. So now it's like I'm shipping pallets of shampoo to here. And so I'm just being more strategic on how I'm doing that. But with ads, if you have access to an unlimited supply of a product it doesn't matter how much you spend on ads. Once you get your ROAS dialed in, because you spend 10,000 a day, you're bringing in 100,000 a day in sales. So that's how you gauge that. So it's irrelevant to the conversation as long as you're dialed in with your ads. Hope that made sense.
Shout out to Nick's wife joining in the chat, Mrs. Mirabella.
Dana
is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Dane, about time you joined a live.
She's hanging out. Say hi.
Dane, how shitty was it when I went through like $100,000 in 3 months with Shopify store? She hated the online store, by the way, guys. She still hates it to this day because the salons were doing so well, and I tried to jump into a business that I had no idea about, and it really crushed us. But we're coming back, babe. We're coming back.
That's why you hired some coaches and got in the right path.
All right, guys. So if you want to learn more about Shopify, you want to learn how to build your store yourself, have us do it with you, DM me the word Shopify. DM me the word grow if you're a salon owner. We're going to wrap things up right here. We got more questions?
Couple things. Yeah,
Shit.
Yeah,
fire through, James.
Cher Ray, I apologize for saying your name wrong. Jen Pressman.
Okay.
I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, and I'm busier than I have ever been with Nick's program.
Jen. Jen's one of our superstars at my Chatham location. She is a customer service beast. Like, she truly loves what she does and cares about the customer. And you ever have that person who, like, when you see them, you just smile, right? And like, they just light the room up? That's Jen. So, like, she could suck at hair. She doesn't. She's great. But she's so sweet, and she's such a great personality that she could suck at hair and still be busy. So just to go off yesterday's call, it's about personality too, guys. Like, the reason why she's so busy is because she has a great personality. So that's just a testament to what we talked about yesterday. Jen, I love you. You're great. Anything else, James?
I just asked any last questions. Going once. Going twice. Nothing.
And tomorrow, I think we're going to have Ann on. Ann is our hair loss expert. So if you guys got questions about hair loss, Xenogen, anything around that realm, she's going to be on to help us out and get into that conversation about why hair's being lost, why it's falling out.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, James, he's going to be bald soon anyway. But guys, you're the best. Thanks for tuning in to the live today.
I got a question for you, Nick, real quick.
All right.
Why did you set up the whiteboard? You put all this stuff on the whiteboard and you didn't even use it. What do we got going on here?
I just wanted to maybe I was going to jump to it again, but
Look at this.
yeah,
Hunger, character.
I talked about the hunger and character, but I didn't. You guys get it. Hunger. That's the reason why you hire. I didn't feel like drawing today.
This guy.
I got into this.
You don't want to do arts and crafts.
Yep. Tomorrow we'll do arts and crafts. I'll have a good module for you guys. But you guys are amazing. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you need help, DM me the word grow or whatever the friggin' word is I said to you. Follow me on YouTube. Go to YouTube, get in a conversation, click subscribe. So James put the link in the chat, guys. Good luck. Don't struggle. Guys, it's not that hard. It's hair. It's business. Success leaves clues. There's 100 million people out there that need their hair cut. Get in front of them, collect the attention, and you'll be successful. Everyone, see you later. Thanks for watching.
Come back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Goodbye.